What is up, everyone? It is your girl China A China and welcome to my castle. And today I'm gonna be setting you free. But before I do that, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe so you can start to see my face every single day. And I will be all up in your business. And with that being said, it's time to get rid. Right now, our anxiety is winning. I'm not gonna lie. And this is happening in all of us. So this is happening in our super creative ones, the ones who can make nothing into something. This is happening to our divine females and our divine feminines and our divine masculines. This is happening to our carefree, joyous ones. This is happening to the ones that have children. It's happening to all of us in completely different ways. For some of us, it really just affects the way that we engage and the way we express gratitude for different opportunities that we make ourselves. So this can make us abandon our opportunities like at the drop of a hat. If it doesn't get created the way that we wanted, if the journey isn't the way that it seems, we can even create obstacles and blockages that are not even really there, just because our anxiety takes over. And I'm here to tell you, and the universe is here to tell you, that we're no longer letting our anxiety be in control of our actions, because ultimately it's up to us. Ultimately it is our choice of whether we want to be controlled by that or not. And then it also affects our divine feminines, our divine masculines. So as of late, if you are a woman and you have not been in your feminine bag, you have not been feeling like wearing the skirt, you feel like you have to wear the pants all the time now to protect yourself, to get yourself out of the mud, so to speak. And honestly, you should be somewhere resting, should be somewhere getting your nails done, getting some new clothes, putting on your makeup. And a lot of us, as we get more anxious and more anxious, we tend to forget the things we do that make us feel better in the first place. All that stuff starts to feel irrelevant. It starts to feel pointless, especially if we're anxious when it comes to physical or worldly things like money, resources, time, things of that nature. Bottom line is, the universe wants you to make time for these things, and they want you to have a balance. So of course there will be times where it's like, okay, I need to cut back. And sometimes there are times where it's like, okay, I can go ahead and relax and use my resources as I please. But it's all about having that balance. And then with the sun here, it's like, first of all, if you're a role model to anyone, if you are like just an older sibling, older cousin, an uncle or auntie, or if you're an actual parent, grandparent, either way, the sense of it is just to keep moving forward, and you are at the forefront of that line. So sometimes it's not always necessarily about thinking about what's the best option for everybody, what's for the greater good or whatever like that, because you're at the front line. So at that point, you can only really think of what's best for you, and then everybody else will kind of have to fall in line behind you. Everything doesn't have to so much be about, you being 10 steps ahead, because you can only be in the present anyway. Of course, you can plan for the future and you can try your best to make things go along like that, but ultimately things will never really go exactly as we have planned, unfortunately. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Pentacles. I haven't really been saying the card names, but don't clock me, okay? We have the Nine of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck and the Page of Wands. The universe is calling you to be a lot more selfish and then a little bit more curious on top of that. A lot of the times when we're anxious, it's calling us to look towards a certain part of life. It can either be calling us to go directly towards that or calling us to do the opposite of whatever we're anxious about. For example, if you create content and you like to post videos and you get really anxious when you think about doing a new type of video or changing your content style. So you're like, what if they don't like it? What if my old viewers leave because they're not into my new content? And it's like, okay, but you will find new viewers, but your anxiety will tell you that you'll never get viewers again. And especially because when you're anxious, it's something that you're already probably unhappy about. Sometimes it's just wild delusions. I ain't gonna hold you. Some of us, me too. I'm not just clocking y'all. my anxiety sometimes be completely delusional and coming from way left field, like way left field. But either way, a lot of times it's calling us to look at something. So if you're scared of going after a different position, if you're scared of opening your own business, if you're scared of selling your own whatever it is you do, if you're scared of making your hobby into a career, anxious about it, you're like, oh, nobody's gonna buy, nobody's gonna watch, nobody's gonna believe me, I'm not gonna get promoted. And then you start to just be really just overprotective, really frugal, really holding on tight to whatever it is that you do, because you're like not willing to, it's like you're not willing to put it out for real, and you're not willing to let anybody in. And it's like, that's one of the most important parts. When you have an overabundance of anxiety, we all tend to just close ourselves up, wrap ourselves up into a tiny little ball. Once again, I'm seeing the Squidward meme. Let's put it here. Actually, no, let's put it over here. The Squidward meme about the future. Future. That's like my favorite meme. Okay, so yeah. And then for oracles, we have water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. Which is another important thing. People, even if some of you are very capable people, regardless of what's happening, you are able to get all of your responsibilities done, or at least most of them. Because that's another part of your anxiety, is like, you're like, okay, if I can't get all of my obligations done, then I will just feel extremely unsettled. If you're one of those people, then you're being called to, like I was saying, be a little bit more selfish, be a little bit more carefree, and just nourish yourself. Make sure you're getting a good amount of rest at night. If you have missed out on doing something, or you forgot to do something, that is tomorrow you's problem. It's tomorrow you's problem. Because at a certain time of night, you need to have a cutoff point where you're like, okay, doesn't matter what I didn't complete today, I would just have to do it tomorrow. And you have to understand that sometimes it's okay to feel tapped out. And you're not expected, maybe in like the society's eyes, you're supposed to just keep going until you're tapped out, until you're burnt out, until you have nothing left to give. But in reality, that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. How are you going to keep going and you have nothing to keep going with? You don't have no gas left. Anyways, I digress. And then we have You're Not Alone. I swear this was not the card I got when I shuffled. Anyways, we have You're Not Alone, isolation, physical connection, and community. Some of y'all are like, it does not help to know that everybody else has anxiety too. Like, you're like, why would that help? It's fine. Okay. The main point, not even just that pretty much everybody has anxiety, but the point being is that it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay for the reasoning to just be that you have anxiety. And the birds are chirping for y'all because they're like, yeah, it's love all around you. It is support all around you. And if you are the type of person who is usually helping other people, the universe is calling you to be more open and allow and also tell people like, hey, I need this form of support. I need this kind of space right now. Because even if you're not the type that wants to support where people are like all close up on you, you can let people know like, hey, this is the type of space I need right now. You can text me, you can call me occasionally, but right now I need a break. I need time. I'm not in the mood to be around everybody's energy. You know what I mean? We have Called, Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. Oh, I have to sneeze. Bless me. That was a spiritual sneeze, okay? Okay, so really in the midst of all these retrogrades and everything that we got going on, you are being called to really take the forefront of your life for real. Because sometimes we tend to be in the driver's seat and we got it on cruise control. And it's like, no, you need to be present for every step of this. And as we're reevaluating our relationships, our connections, as we're reevaluating our careers and our hobbies, and just downright just who we are as people, how we want to come across, it's like as we're evaluating all of that, we need to just remember at the end of the day, we're human. And you are just one person. So sometimes it's going to take a while. It's only going to be step by step. And you shouldn't feel like there's just these eyes on you, judging you and forcing you to move faster and to do more. And it's like, you are enough. You're doing enough and you're going at your pace. And your pace and your journey is not going to look like anybody else's. And I don't care how many times you told yourself that or how many times anybody else has told you that. I'm telling you now, so we can stamp it. Stamp that. Okay, on the bottom of the deck, we have the Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. So basically just trusting yourself and trusting the process, trusting yourself to really uncover what needs to be uncovered in due time. Everything is not going to be apparent to you right then and there. And if any of you all have been in just a sort of like a mental fog, a spiritual fog, a career fog, any type of fog, any type of confusion, trust that you will work your way out of it. And sometimes force isn't always what's necessary. Sometimes rest is what is needed. And then we have the courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. Heavy on the let yourself be seen, as in when things get very overwhelming, when you get worried, of course, you can go off into your little ball, into your little corner, wherever you like to go in order to like recover and rejuvenate. But after that, you got to come back out. Like, you know that, right? You're not supposed to just isolate yourself completely. Now, it's different. Some of y'all might be like, well, the universe and my spirit team, blah, blah, they isolate me all the time. This why I ain't got no friends now. This why I cut this person off, blah, blah. And it's like, this and that are not the same. This and that are not the same. It's like you're like, oh, thinking you're doing the work of the universe and you are basically trying to anticipate what the universe is going to do for you in the future, thinking like, oh, the universe is just going to continue to cut me off from people. They're just going to continue to isolate me, so I might as well stay isolated and do it for myself because I'm too much, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too emotional, I'm too deep, I'm too feminine, I'm too masculine. Whatever the case may be, you feeling like you have an overabundance of some quality that just makes you you. You're not anticipating what the universe is going to do. You're just stunting and restricting yourself in your own growth. You're unintentionally internalizing all of these negative thoughts and these negative things, and that's why things may not be going the way you want them to right now. This is why you're not progressing. This is why you're not feeling creative. You're feeling really stunted, and it's because you're stunting your own growth. To be honest, I hate to tell you like that, but it's true. Okay, we're going to get a few more cards. I rarely ever shuffle on cam. But we're going to get some last minute messages and some advice for our anxiety. Last minute messages for our anxiety and advice. Every card possible just flipped out. A message of peace. Message of peace is on the floor, you guys. We all, as a collective, just need to understand that life is gonna life. Life is gonna life, and honestly, the only real choice we have is to be present for every moment of it, because it's like, whether you decide to be present or you decide to be on autopilot, either way, life is gonna hurt. Because there are ups and downs, and once you get used to that and accept that, the more you can enjoy the ups and relish in the downs, because either way you're learning and either way you're progressing. Why do they keep falling on the floor? This is messing with my anxiety. Yeah. We having technicals, difficulties. We having technical. Okay, so guys, like I was saying, we have message of peace on the floor. Had to pick it up because the other one fell on the floor too. And then we have help that came out. Also came out on the floor. Because the way these cards is flying out and just flopping right on the floor, that already tells me that you all don't understand the value of these qualities. You all are like, I'm just going to keep going, just running off fumes at this point. Like, y'all need an oil change. Some of y'all might actually need an oil change in real life too. So if you have not checked that, then go ahead and check that. Help was 2, and then repression. This is repression right here, which is 22. So you all might be seeing 222 very often. As far as repression goes, we tend to repress the more vulnerable parts of ourselves so that we don't get hurt even more. Our anxiety is like, oh, we need to hide. We need to hide, and we need to just stay in our lane. We need to actually not even in our own lane. Your anxiety is like, oh, we need to stay in the lanes that have already been paved. That way nobody will notice us. That way nobody will call us out. We won't get criticized. We won't get hurt. We won't get rejected. And it's like, I mean, you also won't get noticed. You also won't get seen. You also won't get valued. You won't get acknowledged. Nobody will be able to really show or even see that they'll be able to value your content or your job or your part or your place or your position, whatever you want to call it. Nobody will see it. So how... It's like with bad criticism comes good criticism as well. It's like, how will anybody ever be able to see or value or buy whatever it is that you're doing if you go down a path where there are 10 other people in front of you? And of course, we take inspiration when there are things that we want to do. We take inspiration. But it's like, ultimately, you're meant to set off down your own path once you learn and get the feedback that you need. You're meant to set off on your own path so you can create your own community, so you can pave your own path that other people will follow behind. Other people are meant to follow behind you, in case you didn't know. Okay, let's get a little bit more. Maybe like 1 or 2 more. We have spiritual message. Some of y'all felt this. Some of y'all felt this. Some of y'all tend to get like, have the more overwhelming sense of anxiety where you might have frequent breakdowns. If that's you, don't feel ashamed. It just means you're repressing your emotions a little too much and you need to be more open and vulnerable. Even if you're not necessarily being vulnerable with anybody else, just even being vulnerable with yourself is an important step. Being able to cry more often alone and not feel weak for it, because it's just an emotion and you're human. You have it. Okay, and then we have calm. So ultimately, the universe doesn't want you stressed out. Ultimately. Seriously. You might be like, man, what? On the bottom of the deck, we have children and we have karmic relationship. So a lot of you, the source of the anxiety is also within your family, your home life, or kids, or your relationships and connections, which I was already kind of touching on. What just fell on the floor? Spiritual peace. As I'm talking about kids and relationships, why spiritual peace fall on the floor? Yeah. Anybody aside from ourselves, they stress us out, and that's okay because we love them anyway. However, when it comes in place of kids, for example, lead your house the way you want it to be led, and understand that you're just one human, and understand that ultimately you're going to try your best to do what it takes to raise your kids effectively. And if that is not showing, if it's not apparent to you, if it's not turning out the way that you want, then it's time for you to pivot. It's time for you to change the way that you do things, and then your kids will fall in line, because really, not to sound like that, but they really don't have no choice. So it's really up to you. And sometimes you want to think about, oh, what do your kids want? How would they feel? And kids are sentient beings. They're human just like you, so you can talk to these children. Now, I don't have no kids, so I can't tell y'all how to raise y'all kids, but I'm just saying, if that's where the stress is coming from, be more open. Talk to them more. Be like, hey, to be honest, I'm stressed out. And they might not understand completely, but they understand well enough, okay? And the more you talk to them, the more they will understand. Now, as far as relationships goes, when it comes to these karmic... Oh, another thing before I touch that, hold on. You all are more than just parents. You all are more than just grandparents. You all are more than just role models. Like, that's not your only title as far as life goes. So you shouldn't live your life according to, oh, I'm a parent, or I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I shouldn't do these kinds of things. And it's like, of course, but these thoughts are already measured and riddled and written into all of your steps to begin with, so you don't need to go overboard with how you're thinking about it. Have a little more fun, okay? Be a little more curious, a little more playful. Anyways, as far as these karmic relationships, do not force some of these connections. Sometimes it's okay to let connections go. It's okay to give connections space. And understand that every transformation that happens is not necessarily an ending. Sometimes space is necessary. If you never let go of somebody, you are never going to get past whatever version of yourself that you are currently adorning. You're not going to make any progress because you're holding on to this person at whatever level they're at. And so by doing that, you're stopping your own growth. And this doesn't mean whoever you're with, I'm telling you to break up with him. I'm just saying, sometimes space is the way to go. Distance does make the heart grow fonder. So, I mean, if you experience a little lack of intimacy, space is the way to go, and get in your bag. Yeah, get in your bag. And also, not to sound like that, I ain't trying to clock none of y'all tea, but these love readings, they're not going to help you. If you're watching these, what do your person think? How do your person feel? Blah, 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 blah. They're not really going to help you, because what's really going on is it's all you. When you get your life right, when you are right with your hobbies, your careers, when you're right within, your outer life reflects that, okay? And so think of it like this. If things are happening out in your outer life and you're like, bro, like, what is happening? Why is this happening to me? Like, why me? You need to go in and like think like, okay, what am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I manifesting that my outer life would look like this? Am I just in a in-between period where I'm transforming and I need to just be a little more patient? Or am I just manifesting these negative things? Am I making my life like this, you know? You have a bigger role, and honestly, that might make your anxiety worse. But either way, we have to control this anxiety. We have to control it, and we have to understand that it is not us, okay? It is not us. Simple. So, bottom line is, my main message in conclusion is to keep going. To keep going and to realize that you have a bigger role to play. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you... Some of y'all are like, I don't want that role. Like, I don't want to be in the driver's seat. I don't even want to be here. Look, I'm sorry you're here. I'm sorry that we're all here. But you have a bigger role to play, okay, than the one that you are currently playing. You can't continue to shield yourself and hide. The world wants to see you, and you want to be seen. So stop acting, okay? But I think that's all that I have for you today, my collective. I hope you guys enjoyed this message. And with that being said, like if you want to, comment if you want to, subscribe if you want to, maybe even share. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye!